California setting a record with more than 7,000 cases in a single day, Craig.
Yeah, and Al, the situation's especially bad in Southern California. Eric Garcetti is the mayor of Los Angeles, and he's up early, very early on the West Coast to talk with us. Mr. Mayor, good morning to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Good to be with you, Craig. Thanks so much.
So over the past week, California's averaged roughly 5,000 new cases a day. But it's also the first state in this country that issued those stay-at-home orders. What the heck's happening in California? I mean, did you guys reopen too quickly?
Well, a few things. Here in the city of Los Angeles, we're actually doing noticeably better. We just had 425 new cases yesterday. But we're surrounded by places that did open more quickly than us, places in Southern California that were eager, had kind of irrational exuberance, if you will. And I'm definitely worried, especially with young people. We've seen now 40% of the new cases are 18 to 40-year-olds. And we might feel like we're done with COVID-19, but COVID-19 isn't done with us. I think the best line I heard is this is like people cheating on a diet and wondering why they're not losing weight. There are people who have just stopped physical distancing in many counties, stopped wearing masks, stopped washing our hands. We know what defeats this virus. But people suddenly have stopped doing that in too many places across America. So we're just reinforcing that message, especially with young people. You can save a life, but you can also take a life with the behavior that you have.
Are you guys seeing an increase in hospitalizations as well?
Small. Our deaths continue to go down in Los Angeles. We've seen a little bit of the hospitalizations tick up, but it's still well below our peak in April. And we have a lot of capacity. So it's important not to get too hysterical about what's happening, but it is very important to take seriously this disease. It is just as dangerous, this virus, today as when it arrived. And I don't care if we're exhausted. It doesn't get exhausted, and it preys on our exhaustion. It preys when we get lazy. It preys when we are divided. So, and especially with folks who have been out and protesting and other things, it's important to get tested. And we just nearly doubled our testing capacity from yesterday to today to make sure we can meet that demand.
Well, Mr. Mayor, to that point, recently health officials in your county found that at least 1,000 restaurants were not following safety guidelines. So how do you protect against that? What do you do when you find those restaurants? And how does that affect the ability to be able to, for folks to be able to follow the rules?
It's a great point. I think they went to over 2,000 restaurants, so you have to do a ton of inspections. I call it the 3 E's. You have to educate where you find people out of compliance. You have to encourage, and if necessary, enforce. But no city has the resources to enforce across the board if people aren't policing themselves. We're not going to turn America into some sort of a police state. So it's kind of like an honor system. And for folks who run a business, know that if we don't get this right, these businesses will be closed down again, and that will be devastating. So I think we're smarter. I think we know how to live with COVID-19 better, but now it's on each one of us. Let's each do our part.
Well, Mr. Mayor, earlier you just mentioned about testing, and that's a major weapon. But a number of L.A. County sites this week were either all booked up or closed. What are you doing to make sure you've got the testing capacity? And do you have enough testing capacity for this latest surge?
We do, and I'm very proud that Los Angeles was the first big city to offer testing, whether you had symptoms or not. We were all good last week, and then we did see a surge. So within 2 days, we were able to nearly double the capacity to about 17,000 tests a day. We have 90 sites now across the county. I'm in charge of the ones in Los Angeles City, but the Los Angeles City ones, which we're paying for out of pocket, we increased by 7,000. So everybody should be able to book a test same day or next day in Los Angeles. It's absolutely critical. And I encourage people in LA to go to coronavirus.lacity.org and get a test now.
Why were those sites, why were they closed?
The week before, we had extra capacity in each one of them. So there was definitely a testing surge. We had thousands of tests that weren't being used just a couple days before that. We've been trying to encourage people, too, to also go to their primary providers. Now you can go to your doctors, your clinics, and we're filling in the holes. We're the first city in America, I think, that tested every senior nursing facility. We have mobile clinics in our public housing developments, and also for people experiencing homelessness, where we've not seen a surge and an outbreak. So I'm very proud of the testing capacity, and we're able to turn on a dime when we see that there's more demand or less demand on those public testing drive-through and walk-up centers. But increasingly, I think people will go to their doctors. where we should have had testing from the beginning, and finally it's beginning to arrive.
Mayor Garcetti, if the cases continue to rise there, how real is the possibility that you're going to have to close down businesses again and lock down residents again?
Make no mistake, we know that that is not only the last resort, it is the strongest resort. And if we see a dramatic uptick, and I want to be clear, so far, at least in Los Angeles, we haven't seen a dramatic uptick. We've seen a steady decline in deaths. We have a lot of bed capacity. That is one of the arrows in our quiver. But I do believe in people. I've seen remarkable generosity and incredible behavior. Get over not wearing a mask. I say real men wear masks. It's an act of love, of generosity. Wash your hands, keep your distancing. And I don't think we'll have to go there. We're not at that kind of red light yet. But any early warning signs requires us as leaders to remind people how they brilliantly were able to save lives before. And they need to keep doing that until we have a vaccine or a drug that can treat COVID-19.
Any indication so far whether the recent protests about race and policing there contributed to this spike? Do we know?
They were outdoors, but our public health director of our county said there's no question there's probably some connection. But we need to keep, that pressure up for racial justice. Let's just be safe. As an organizer I talked to once said, does everybody know the crowd looks bigger if you're 6 feet away anyway? So I encourage people to keep exercising that right. I certainly don't want people to stay at home, but you have to do it in the way that we have learned COVID-19 won't take advantage of this moment.
In fact, speaking of those protests, Mr. Mayor, you've been criticized by both the police union and the activists about the way you've been handling the protests. What are your priorities as you try to listen to protesters' calls for change, keeping the confidence of law enforcement as well?
That's part of one of the burdens of leadership, but I relish this moment. It's not how we wanted it to arrive in America, but I've been waiting for this moment to help push forward the birthing of a multiracial democracy in America my entire life. And I'm glad Los Angeles led the movement of reallocating resources and figuring out ways to invest in Black communities, but also to make sure that we have police officers who are lifted up for the heroism that they show and held accountable for any who break rules or break laws. We have a very bold agenda, and just on Juneteenth, we appointed our first chief racial equity officer in the city's history. Every one of our 37 departments will have to step up and look at their hiring, look at their policies, analyze what they haven't seen before. If you don't see it, you can't manage it. And we need to measure everything that we are doing, as well as heavily invest. And you'll see in the next couple of weeks here in Los Angeles, we're going to be investing in Black communities in a deeper way than we've ever done before. It's about policing right now, but it has to be about health and wealth building. The disparity between Black and white wealth in America is the core of our original sin here in America. And I intend to lead from that. I know there's criticism always when you march forward, but we can't miss this moment. We have to meet it. I'm very proud LA has helped spread that around the country, who's now really rethinking policing, reimagining what equity looks like, and making sure that Black communities are not left behind.
Mayor Eric Garcetti. Mayor Garcetti, thanks again for waking up early. Do appreciate you.
Oh, it's great to be with you guys.